Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tennyson E Stead, the writer and director of Quantum Theory, a founding member of 8-Sided Films, coming to you with another 8-Sided blog. And today, I'd like to just talk about my actual schedule and time management because it's a crucial part of any success our company's ever going to see, and it's certainly the only reason why my career is where it's at right now. And it's also a little biographical, shares a little bit about what's going on in my life. So let's talk about what goes into basically every single week that I put in with this company. So right off the top, I do have a day job. It's fundraising. With my brain injury, I'm only able to work about 20 hours a week or 2.5 days before my physical symptoms, which include tremors and fatigue and all kinds of other things, start making me look unprofessional at the workplace to such a degree that people get too worried to really work effectively around me, or my voice and my cognitive problems, which basically involve confusion and like losing conversations, having trouble keeping track of what's actually happening in front of me. Those kinds of things can happen too, and obviously that's going to have a huge impact on my professionalism. So I got to limit my work hours, and I have to make sure that I keep that stimulation coming in only to the degree that it empowers me to help my company. So that's 20 hours a week off the top. Every day I put in an hour and a half of physical therapy and exercise, and that's to keep my body. I don't have a youthful figure exactly, but it helps keep me in the kind of shape that's going to enable me to keep working in movies and keep doing the things that I do instead of winding up in assisted living. So every day, an hour and a half, non-negotiable. And that I do after any day job responsibilities I have and before I get to anything else, any 8-Sided Films related things, quantum theory related things, web series production, or anything else that I'm up to. So I get the hours in at the job if I have them that day, and then I go straight to the gym, I do my workout, and depending on who's got appointments and what's going on, I have in any given week at least 6 hours, including commuting, of other medical appointments. I have, at this particular point, I have a speech and cognitive therapist that I'm working with and getting a handle on exactly what cognitive disabilities I have and where my problems are, and exactly what exhausts me and exactly what's going on. So we're sort of taking it apart with a lot of testing and figuring out where all the trouble areas are, finding ways to work on that. So that's 6 hours a week, and people's schedules in the medical world are up in the air, so as long as they see me when I get there, I don't argue with them about when it's going to happen. Fortunately, my day job is very flexible, so I can put those hours around my medical stuff and my show stuff. So, the first thing I do every morning when I wake up is I sit down in front of my computer and I write 3 pages of just whatever I want to say, whatever I want to tell myself, whatever I want to remind myself of. I usually build a basic plan for the day into those 3 pages and sort out exactly what my commitments are and what I have to do and what I want to do, what I want to accomplish, and set goals. And I also use it as an opportunity to brainstorm, or just to get stuff out of my head and onto the page and start the practice. There goes my voice. The practice of writing right up front, first thing. And apart from being a good creative exercise or getting the juices flowing or anything else, it actually serves a very functional purpose in terms of my health, which is that because I know I'm using that space to sort of pour all of the head noise that I've got built up, because I know that's what it's for, my brain doesn't spend the rest of the day trying to find places to insert its little interjections and sabotages and everything else, because I know the first thing I'm going to do when I wake up is write down all the bullshit that's going on in my head. My brain doesn't need to find places to express that bullshit over the course of the rest of the day, because my brain knows that there's a place for it already. It doesn't have to find a place for it. So I do 3 pages right up front, get them out of the way, and that helps keep me mentally healthy in the throes of all the medical stuff that's going on and all the other challenges that I face, and I'm sure there's chemical stuff going on as well. So right up front, get that taken care of. Then I either go to work or I go to the gym, depending on whether I have work that day. Get my workout in, okay? And then once that portion of my sort of process is done, Mondays and Tuesdays are for business correspondence. I can't talk too in depth about that, not because I don't want to talk about my business process, but because there's actually some laws in place to protect investors and other people who work with businesses from solicitation and from getting scammed. So anything I say in a blog like this that revolves around how we build the business of 8-sided film, specifically with regards to financing, that could be construed as an advertisement and an incentive for people who don't necessarily know what they're doing to come in and work with us. And that's verboten. So I don't share that kind of information with you, not because I don't think it would be useful and not because I don't want to, but because it's against the law. And what I suggest anyone do who's interested in film finance or how that process works or how we make all of the basic systems by which we finance movies, I outline in the developmental breakdown, which is my blog on the 8-sided forum. So if you go to 8sidedforum.com, there's a list of the groups that are most frequently visited on the right-hand side of the page, and right there you'll see the developmental breakdown. Just click on it, and there's a whole chapter on film finance. The first item is chapters and indexes. Click on that, and there's your film finance stuff. I'll put a link, or I'll ask Lee to put a link. Lee, please put a link in the right down here. Thank you, Lee. So there's that. Monday and Tuesday, I do that kind of work. I do sales work, and I hit my sales goals for the week, and I make sure that all my numbers are fulfilled, and I've made all the correspondences I need to make to keep the process of quantum theory rolling forward every week. And I'll send out at least 200 emails a week. So that's what Monday and Tuesday are for. Monday night, after my finance work, I record a new podcast that I'm doing with Dan Hegarty called The Loudmouth Report, which will be publishing the first episode of in the very near future, and more on that as it becomes available. There's a page already on the 8-sided forum as well. So again, go to 8-sided forum and you'll get the updates. You'll see when it's available. But Dan and I are getting into the rhythm of every Monday night recording one of those. So that'll be a weekly thing. Tuesday night is when I'm moving my office hours to. So I do my finance work, and then I roll into office hours, which is when I make myself available for people in the community to come and visit with and ask any independent film questions they might have. So right now, if you're curious, I maintain those office hours at Tiago in Hollywood because there's a lot of space. It's very easy to meet with people. I'm there from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. and then I'm off to do other things. So that's Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm probably on Wednesday evenings, and this you'll see more posts about this. I'm going to start having more office hours that I'm going to stream on the internet, probably from this seat right here in my room in North Hollywood, so I can talk to people and communicate with people who didn't get the chance to visit me. But by and large, Wednesday tends to be a very, very good day for writing and for creative work. If I can, Mondays and Tuesdays, I know I'm probably not going to get any writing done. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I always try to get at least a couple pages in on something. So right now I'm writing a spec screenplay called Cloak of 1,000 Years, which is sort of a sorcery, occultist, espionage thriller. It's a neat movie. You'll see. It's cool. It's modern fantasy is what it is, but it's not like Harry Potter modern fantasy. It's more like if magic were real and it were really dangerous and really underground, and there's a conspiracy in play, and this woman is trying to find her way to a better life and a better use of the tools that she's been taught as a warlock, or whatever you will. So that's what I'm working on right now, but that's when I write things like the David Allen Rifkin blogs, or Declassified, which season 1 I need to do some redrafts of. And it's also, Wednesday tends to be a good time for graphic design and any kind of development work that I need to do. I'll work on Wednesdays. Thursdays, I wake up, get my any day job stuff, any exercise I need to do, and then the first thing I need to take care of on Thursday, and it usually takes me all day, is the week's social media stuff. So I write all the tweets for Quantum Movie, at Quantum Movie on Twitter. I write tweets for myself, at Tennyson E Stead, and I write each one individually, and I put them all through Hootsuite, and I upload them so that I have a baseline of content. What I do is I check in with my community, I see if there's anything people want me to share, I talk to people around me, see if there's any news going on, and I pull any news from inside the company. You know, if somebody's doing a show, if somebody's got an opening, if somebody's got a short film they want to share, anything like that, I make sure it winds up in there, and that we're promoting it over the course of the week. And then that is a baseline of content that I can sort of supplement with, like from my smartphone, and send additional content over the course of the week. So that's Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, oftentimes there's a show in the evening that I need to attend. Dan and I do any loudmouth report work that we need to do for the next Monday. On Friday, we have a check-in for that. I try to get as much writing done as I can. And with the weekend coming up, if there's a web series recording or something along those lines, then, you know, I want to make sure that I have everything prepared. So Friday's usually a day when I start doing work forward looking into the next week, and then sort of get that work done as fast as I can, and then buffer out. Friday also tends to be a time when I have a lot of medical appointments for whatever reason. It's very easy for me to get medical appointments on Fridays. So, and that I think might be changing over the course of the next few weeks. But Friday up until like 5 o'clock tends to be just medical stuff, and my pages and my exercise. And then Saturday, I almost always wind up in the fundraising room, which is good. I get out of that, and because I can sleep in on Sunday, Saturday's a day when I can really catch up on writing and really focus on that stuff. And then Sunday, if we do have a web series in production, it's almost always when we're going to be shooting it. So I get up, I do my exercises, I make sure my pages are done. I will go out with Gerard or whoever, and we'll bring the camcorder that I'm shooting this very thing with, and we'll do David Allen Rifkin, or we'll do, you know, whatever the case may be. And if that's not something I have going on, then I'll get back to development. I'll either put more time into quantum theory, or I'll work on the script that I'm working on now, or, you know, over the course of, you know, any given week, I'll wind up compiling a whole bunch of notes. I'm able to take notes at my day job, which is really convenient. So I write a lot of shorter things, like if I'm doing blogs for people, or if I'm doing monologue web series production. It's really easy. I can't do dialogue. I can't do like scene work at my day job, because with all the noise and all the people, it's too distracting for me to have more than one character in my head. But I can write in a voice. So I'll do David Allen Rifkin stuff at work, or I'll do that kind of thing, and then I'll transcribe it. Any notes that I have, regardless of what they're for, whether it's a treatment for a movie or whatever the case may be, it all gets written down on Sunday. And then we're back on Monday. So there's a couple of kinks that'll get thrown into my week. One of them, obviously, is production of any kind, which you just accept that it's going to disrupt the whole routine, and you roll right through the production and you get right back to the routine. That's how that works. Post-production takes the place of writing. So if I'm editing something, I just take all my writing time out of the schedule. You know, if I'm working on a feature film like Quantum Theory, then the day job gets taken out of the schedule too, and I just need to make sure that I'm maintaining my medical stuff. That's it. Everything else is for the movie. And then the next week starts. Now, the other thing that is constantly disrupting my week is the brain injury itself, because apart from the maintenance, apart from the commitments that I have to my physical therapy, the commitments that I have to all my doctors, any legal appointments I may have, or anything else that's going on with that, I also have a brain injury, and it'll floor me. You know, I sometimes will not be able to do anything for 4 hours or so. And the way I use that time is that I look for the thing I can do. You know, what can I do that's on my schedule that I can take off my schedule and get taken care of now with the resources I have? And if I just need to rest, it's taken me a long time to learn this, but I take that break and I rest. So that's what it is. There's nothing else going on except for the feature films, the other content that we're creating for you. And the maintenance of the life that allows me to create those things. I honestly have no idea how people with kids manage this career, and when people, you know, on the internet come out and say, you know, you've got to have, you know, something else, you've got to have another life that's supporting you and taking care of you. I don't know how that would work. To me, it seems like those people couldn't possibly be putting in the time it takes to actually build a creative community, you know? Oh, so the other thing that actually happens all the time is I'll wind up supporting other people's work. I'll go to the theater, I'll volunteer, you know, I'll go to people's sets. Colleagues will have questions and meetings about other stuff that's going on, and I'll make sure and invest that time. That's kind of what my week work sort of adds up to. And I do play video games from time to time. I play, right now, No Man's Sky. I play a good bit of Heroes of the Storm and Overwatch. And Dan, my composer's brother, is a big StarCraft fan, it turns out, and I love StarCraft, so there's somebody I can play StarCraft with, and we both are pretty terrible at it, so they're scheduling some time at some point to do that. But that, to me, that's what a show business life is. That's what it adds up to, you know? And the point is to be there when we screen the movie, you know? The point is to be at the festivals when the audience is at the festivals, and be with the people who are seeing it for the first time and talk to them about who we are and what we have to offer and what else is going on and what they got from the movie and what else they want from us in the future and how we can build a community, you know? And then keep in touch with those people as the movie makes its way around the festival circuit, you know, and then when it hits theaters, to be there with our people, you know, America, you know, all the folks in this country who have been brought into our community by the people we met at the festivals, or who are checking it out because they're into independent cinema, and have been reading about us and talking to other people, you know, and to share that experience with them and give those people an experience to have in common that builds an enriching framework around their interactions and gives them a new dimension to the relationship between them that challenges them and delights them and inspires them. That's what all of this work adds up to at the end of the day. And the other thing I'll address very briefly is the question of how, if I can't make it through a 20-hour work week, I possibly imagine I can make it through a feature film production. And the answer is that, very simply, there are things that are acceptable when I'm in control of the environment and I'm the boss that are not acceptable when I'm responsible to somebody else's professional standards. I can sit in a wheelchair and shake like a leaf as a director. It's fine. I can have someone push me around. I can focus on getting the decisions made, you know, coaching my actors, and by the rehearsal process with us is so extensive that my actors are going to know what to do when we hit set. Everyone's going to know what to do, and if they don't, I'm surrounded by production keys that are telling them. So my job is just to make sure that the decisions that are getting made are all part of the same movie, to make sure that everybody's on mission, and to make sure that my production keys are empowered to exercise their creative authority without compromise. To make sure that I'm there as a support for people to check in with, get the help that they need, and keep everything running. All of that needs to be taken care of by the time we hit the set anyway. You shouldn't be doing, in my opinion, that kind of work on set. The set is for the shooting and the actual labor of making the movie. The rehearsal process and the development process is where all of that other stuff happens. And yes, you find creative opportunities and you exploit them immediately without hesitation. There's magic that happens on the set, but the more you prepare, the more you can take advantage of the magic when it does arise. So, my concern is not actually how I'm going to hold up on set. I'm going to hold up terribly, and and that's okay. I remember those videos of Peter Jackson sleeping through, Lord of the Rings, and I know I'm going to schedule much more conservatively. I'll probably have a bed right next to the set. I doubt I'll go far, but I'm going to make sure that I get enough sleep to maintain myself. It's just a question of the actual neural load of stimulation that's coming into my head, and as long as I maintain the ability to make decisions and communicate those decisions as a baseline, then everything else can go out the window. And that's just not the case when I'm representing someone else. So that's the answer to that question. It's not going to be pretty, but the other thing is my production keys have all been working with me throughout this entire process. They're very accustomed to what my injury looks like when it gets really expressive. So they're not fazed by it. They don't think it's abnormal. And as people under them start to notice, oh, wow, something's really freaky with the director, what's going on? They can maintain their control of their teams and say, guys, let me worry about my relationship with Tenny. You focus on what you need to focus on. And they can sort of lead from there. So, working with someone else who's not part of the company, that would be a little trickier. But, as far as what services I offer to the industry, it's mostly, I think, screenwriting. So I don't foresee that being an issue. What will be an issue is the festivals, because that's not an environment I have control over. I can't kind of build out from myself and control how the information comes in and out. The festivals are just a massive wall of people coming at you at all times, and some of those people have microphones, and some of those people are audience members, and that's good. That's what they're for. That's what the festivals are for. People organize those festivals to give us the chance to tour, and that's something I should talk about. Touring is one of the most important business principles, and entertainment people let it slide. But it's a generous thing that festival operators do, and so few filmmakers take advantage of it in the spirit that it's given, when in fact that's the most useful thing a festival can be. So I don't intend to let the audience or the festival organizers down in that respect. I just know that's going to be a serious challenge. My answer to that is to go with my ensemble and just and trust my ensemble to protect me. And they will. They're very protective of me. So that's an environment where I'm going to have to sort of delegate a lot of the social sort of filtering and information filtering just to my actors, and that's okay, because my actors are great actors and they love entertaining people and they love the audience, as do I. So I don't think that'll be an issue at all. That is how I keep it working, and that hour and a half of physical therapy every day, the pages. I meditate every night for 30 minutes before I go to sleep, and just empty my head completely and be still, keeping my body in the shape that it's in, which is not amazing shape by any stretch of the imagination. But here's the thing, I'm not in, assisted living. I'm functioning, I'm doing the workload I'm describing with you, you know, every day, all day, getting it done. So, so that's it. That's what my schedule is. And thank you for taking a minute to talk to me about it. And I hope it illuminates what goes into success in entertainment, at least to some degree. And I'm going to sign off. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.